she was 21, she was approached to star in adult films, which almost overnight brought her huge fame and success, if you want to put it that way.
I am just loving the success.
Is it really fame and success if you're selling your soul to get it? Yo, welcome back to the room, back at another video. Today we're gonna be reacting to Where Are Corn Stars Today by Moon. Before we get into this video, make sure to sub, like the video, and comment your opinions, thoughts down below. Let's get straight into the video, man.
Loving pattern has emerged in the adult film industry. Young stars with their whole lives ahead of them have drifted off of the rails, gone missing, or even died. With at least 5 of these tragedies.
Whoa! Go ahead and sub before I do something I don't want to.
In the past 3 months, what's going so terribly?
That's what I'm saying. Every time like I hear about corn people, like they're dying, they go off the face of the earth. Like what be happening
wrong
to
within
them,
the
man?
industry to lead to this? And how is this industry destroying society as a whole? Well, let's find out where these formerly acclaimed
Just want to clarify, I'm in here based off pure curiosity. I'm not on
adult film stars are today. You see, Emily Willis was one of the few examples of a success story in adult film, and her early life reads like the dream of anyone looking to make their way into the industry.
But it's like, be real, as a dude, you've heard a name or you've seen something like
details about her life are shaky. It seems like lots of stars, she began with nothing. Growing up in a small village in Utah, Emily was a quiet, introverted girl growing up. She kept a low profile during high school, moving out to San Diego to try and build a life for herself. But after some short-lived jobs in sales that didn't work out, Emily was broke. She had no money and nothing to do, all whilst living in one of the most expensive places in America. But then suddenly at the
Bro, you're broke. Why would you move to LA, dog? Like, that's
age of 18, Emily was swiping through Tinder, matching with different guys, until she would meet a man called Andre Garcia, who she began to date shortly.
Oh, wait, no, like, just peep this real quick, right? She had no money, and the first thing she went to go do is to try to find a man to support her, man.
After. But this was far from any fairy tale romance story, and it wasn't just a regular date,
because
Garcia is now known as one of the most infamous men behind Girls, a sinister website which acted as just one of many tube sites online. Garcia and his colleagues would trick and coerce women into appearing in adult videos, which they told them would only ever be sold as DVDs outside of the country. Sometimes they would offer young girls work as models, only to later force them into doing nude videos instead. They even hired another young woman to convince potential victims to go along with it, figuring that would seem more trustworthy. Emily was just one of the many girls they exploited, but her story went much further than most of the others. Her videos proved immensely popular on the site, and soon enough, she was receiving offers from all sorts of different producers to star in their videos. It wasn't always easy. Emily's family were distraught when they learned about her new career, and it completely destroyed their family relationship for years, as you can imagine. But on the surface, it seemed like everything was going well. This is how the industry tricks women
on the surface, but like, I'm just trying to
into joining it in the first place, and how it tricks young men into thinking it's acceptable to watch. Everything seems great on the surface until you find out.
If you're going like back and forth with yourself watching corn, obviously it's like something a lot of men deal with. You know what I'm saying? If you're going back and forth and you're watching this video right now, no matter who you are, don't do it, bro. It's not worth it. Like, I know it's like you can't stop it. It's like, oh, I'm bored, I have nothing to do, I might as well do this. Don't do it, bro. You're taking away, you know what I'm saying? Don't do it, man.
Some very nasty, sinister consequences.
Just think, like, what would God do if he saw you today? Like, you know, I hate to be like one of those people that like try to push that in your face, but like, you know what I'm saying? This is my channel, bro. I'm always going like, this is my channel. This is me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I believe in God. And I want everybody to know I believe in God. If you're watching this and you also believe in God, or you don't, or you're like in the middle, like, bro, you know what I'm saying? We all in this journey together. I'm trying to like build my faith up,
as Emily would soon find out. After this, Emily would
leave the comments down below if you
700
also trying to do so.
over the course of her career, for which she won multiple awards and became one of the most popular actresses on the internet. But more than that, Emily even began making a career outside of the industry and branched out into other online spaces. She even went on the Sidemen's real-life Tinder videos, which gained over 56 million views. But behind the scenes of all these vlogs, all of these videos, all of this money and fame, was a gnawing mental health problem, a nagging voice inside of her. You see, Emily was dealing with terrible addiction problems. jobs. Surrounded by young people working for fast money, it's inevitable that these people will encounter drugs at some point. But eventually, the lifestyle of being in this industry and being swept into this line of work got far too much for her to bear, and so she retired from making videos at just 23 years old. A good move, but the damage it did was starting to take a toll, as unfortunately the downward spiral that industry sent her into couldn't be reversed. And 2 years later, on February the 5th of 2024, everything changed, and when Emily was tragically admitted to critical care at a California hospital.
Bro, they always suffer a heart attack. It's always like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one day this whole industry is gonna get uprooted from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for that day.
After suffering from a heart attack just a week after entering a rehab facility. This happened because she had overdosed, which put her in a coma for 2 months. And despite waking up recently, doctors don't believe she'll ever fully recover, but hopefully she does. And now this might seem like a very tragic but isolated incident. However, unfortunately, it's an increasingly common story within the industry. You see, of course, we all know these sites, the people making these videos, and the production companies behind them are always exploitative. Young, unstable people looking for quick money can use it as a crutch to support a fast lifestyle, instant fame, success, and money and validation that destroys you morally later on. Meanwhile, there's plenty of people and companies eager to exploit their fleeting popularity before moving.
Why bro got his arm above her like that, gang? Like, it be dudes like this. You can't excuse dudes like
Moving
that
on to the
either.
next
I'm not
victim.
gonna lie.
But with the rise of the internet and the massive explosion of tube sites, it's all gotten so much worse. The tube sites sell themselves as offering a kind of freedom and empowerment for the performers in the videos, but in actuality, they've only made things far more competitive and cutthroat for people looking to enter the industry. The sheer amount of choice in videos on these platforms mean women rarely get a chance to make a name for themselves. The majority start in just 2 or 3 videos before giving it up. For the little pay they do receive, they've traded their privacy and their dignity. The videos they are in rarely get removed from the internet and stick around forever as they.
Bro, if you make a hub video, don't think that it will not be brought up again later in your life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will search up a name. That's why like they use a name that's obviously not their name, because you wouldn't want
get
that.
uploaded
Some people
over and over again, showing one of the most intimate acts to the entire world repeatedly for an audience of millions. However, for the majority of performers that don't make it through the industry, there are a few people who have a different story. One of them is the infamous Mia Khalifa. Fleeing her home country of Lebanon as a child and moving to the United States, Khalifa's life was relatively ordinary at first. After graduating high school, she went to college to study art whilst working as a waitress and a model on the side. But when she was 21, she was approached to star in adult films, which almost overnight brought her huge fame and success, if you want to put it that way.
I am just loving the success.
Is it really fame and success if you're selling your soul to get it? Like, really think about that. Is it really success if you're selling your soul to achieve it? Know what I'm saying? What you're doing is
And loving
Again,
everything that I.
and I'm not saying it in a way to judge, you know what I'm saying? I don't judge any of these people. Hey, God washed the feet of prostitutes too, man. You know, I don't got nothing but love for everybody. No, I don't got nothing but love for everybody. But
I've gotten because of it.
And I say that because the way she gained fame and success was probably done in one of the worst ways possible. You see, in one of her first videos, Khalifa and her co-star were wearing hijabs, and that became its whole own news story. Death threats and anger came flooding in from across the Middle East, while news outlets like CNN and the Washington Post caught on and almost instantly made her a household name. And overnight, she became the most searched for name on the most popular websites. Mrs. time in the industry was short, and she clearly got the paycheck she was looking for. Despite saying that she was only paid $12,000 over the course of her career, the companies who made her videos have said that it was at least 10 times that much. But even in this best case scenario of becoming the most popular star around in just a few short videos, Mia still says she has a bunch of regrets. She's described how difficult it has been to shake this reputation, to find a regular job, or to ever be.
bro, you will never shake the reputation. You might get a regular job because some people believe in second chances, but you will never shake your reputation. Ever.
be
Know what I'm
taken
saying?
seriously.
Ever.
I
Let's
would
not
say
get
that
that
if I had
twisted,
never met
you
that
know?
person, I never would have done. I
Right.
never would have done the things that people know me for doing, and I could have just been.
Because you know, in life, people make mistakes, right? Like, let's say like you're battling a corn addiction, right? Which a lot of people are. Which which a lot of people are. Let me just keep it at that. But one day you decide to fold on it, right? That's why, bro, I can't judge any of these people. Whenever, yeah, what they're doing, like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, they're going online, they're doing this, selling their body, doing all this, but it's like, like beating to it, like going in your room, getting that tissue, getting that lotion, and doing stuff to it, it's just as bad. The only difference is you're not gonna have I'm saying you're not going to have your life ruined because you beat, but the person who's putting themselves in that situation for success, their whole life is ruined no matter what they want to do after.
Normally making $18 an hour, hopefully. Somewhere.
But you can't feel too sorry for her. I mean, it's hard to distance yourself from the industry that brought you your fame, especially when you're still using the same false name that most people know you by. Her criticism of the industry rings hollow when she still runs an OnlyFans and profits off of the fame she made from it.
Okay, I didn't know that. You're saying, oh, they use me, they abuse me, all this, but then you still have OnlyFans? Is that not like the same thing but like reskinned, or am I like
simply working as an actor in any way in the industry has permanent
something here?
consequences? Even with all of the fame and money that Mia got from her short-lived career, it will never buy back her privacy or remove all of the content that still continues to haunt her today. For most actresses and actors though, they get far less money and fame and still have to deal with all of the same consequences. They can't live off a few months.
Well, that's the thing, bro. This is the top, bro. Mia Khalifa is probably the top of the top actors, and she's going through this in her own way. Imagine you can't get, you know what I'm saying, you can't get you're not big enough to really make a lot of money on social media. You can't, what's the word? You can't find a way to make money outside of it because you weren't that big. Most people, she's an outlier. You know what I'm saying? You sold your soul for nothing. You got scammed off your soul.
Their lives
Like,
by
what?
appearing on podcasts. They have to get real jobs. Something that a career in the industry makes a lot harder if it ever gets out. There are other problems that such a career can make for you, even though society is still squeamish about discussing it. Studies have shown time and time again that for many people out there, having a large number of partners before marriage can sometimes make it more likely that you will actually get divorced. Of course, this is an ironclad rule, and it doesn't mean that your past determines your future, but it is still a social pattern. Even taking in Mia Khalifa's string of divorces into account seems to prove the point, especially if you have this content out there on the internet. I mean, commodifying your past relationships and selling intimacy as a product is always going to be worse for your future happiness, and especially terrible if you ever get married and the guy finds out. Even though this is a harsh truth for serial dating that society expects and celebrates today, it doesn't make it any less true. It's less clear whether simply watching adult films has the same effect though. We at least know that it can have a negative effect for people already in serious relationships. Whether it makes a difference beforehand is still kind of up in the air, but you can imagine it probably would. But as we'll soon find out, this may be the least concerning problems that people in the industry face. It can be easy to focus solely on women in the industry. It's inevitably what most of the actual films are focused on. They're the big names that draw the biggest audiences, but tons of the same problems that women face.
Just watching this video is so like, you can almost kind of see like, whenever you try to like look in their eye, you can almost kind of see like it's like you're looking at an empty husk. Like, I don't want to say, I don't want to you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be disrespectful for nothing.
Equally challenging for men as well. Bill Bailey was just one of those male stars. To begin with, making it as a man in the industry is more harder than you'd think. The pressures to perform under harsh lighting for hours at a time isn't something that most people could ever deal with. The use of performance enhancers like Viagra is so widespread it's almost expected. But those who can deal with the pressure and make a name for themselves can often have far longer careers than women, starring in lots of videos. Bill Bailey was one of these men, appearing in over 2,000 videos across his career. Viagra isn't the only drug that gets abused in the industry. The use of other stimulants like amphetamines are very common, as well as heavy alcohol use to deal with this lifestyle, and it was this vice that would lead to Bill's tragic death. You see, whilst attending an industry expo in early March of 2019, people reported seeing Bill drinking heavily throughout the day. Later that night, while staying in a 4th floor apartment with his girlfriend, Bill fell over the handrail of his balcony and plummeted 4 stories to the ground, and local reports claimed that he was involved in some kind of argument before the incident, but authorities ruled that there was no foul play involved. Obviously though, male stars working within the industry are a very small group.
Hey, rest in peace, bro, but like, whenever you're in that industry, the amount of stuff you're just putting in your body, the amount of, and obviously being in that environment, you're going to do drugs. I'm not gonna lie. That's might as well be mandatory. It's like, bro, you're bound. You can't stay in there for too long. You shouldn't be in there
all of the men
at
that are
all to
affected
begin
by
with.
it. However tragic the performers' stories might be, the real changes to society come
Again, I don't judge anybody. Even if you're thinking, you're in the process of, know what I'm saying, still got love for you, man. Just
from mass consumption.
take
by
your
the
time and then
audience
come
and
back
the
to
effects
the
it has
come
on
back
them.
to the
We've
right
known
side
for
one
about
day
20
when you
years
can.
now that addiction and addictive behaviors cause fundamental negative changes to the brain. Studies on addictive drugs show damage to the frontal lobes from sustained use. It isn't just the effects of the substances themselves. Even in people with an addiction to food, we see the same degradation and loss of brain matter. These changes are clear through people's behavior, as well as through an MRI machine. Addicts are more likely to show poor judgment towards their own actions and the consequences that come with them. They lose their willpower and their ability to resist these addictions. They become more impulsive and emotionally unstable. We now understand that addictions seem to replace that reward system in our brains used to regulate normal life. They get hijacked, redirecting your own ambition for success and happiness towards the focus of the addiction. These addictions and the negative effects they have are exactly the same for sexual activity and the consumption of adult material. The content offers an alternative to a fulfilling, healthy life and connections with other people, a great social group, deep, meaningful relationships, connection with the society around you. Instead, adult content is
Bro, like, you know, you're supposed to get like the feeling of like smoking, or the feeling of drinking and being drunk, being high, you're supposed to feel those highs whenever you're naturally going through life and feeling the highs of life. Now I'm saying, you're not supposed to feel the highs of life through taking a hit or drinking alcohol or sniffing heroin, or you're not supposed to feel the highs of life from drugs. And that's the issue. Once you feel that high from those drugs, you want to keep on doing those drugs, obviously, and it just messes up your dopamine, messes up your brain. It's like, bro,
but which alienates you from what's true.
same with porn. You might think like, oh, you know what I'm saying, porn isn't it's not alcohol, it's not, so, you know what I'm saying, in the back of your mind, it's like, it's not as bad. So you know what I'm saying, you indirectly don't even see it as like as important as alcohol. So you just do it. You're like, oh, it's whatever. Nobody gonna kill you for being your shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna kill you. But it's like, if you care about yourself and you're watching this video, stop.
Valuable in life. And companies
Please,
like
you know what I'm
MindGeek,
saying?
the owner of most of the major tube
Please.
sites, have turned this addictive component into a multi-billion-dollar money machine, using the same techniques and algorithms as sites like TikTok and YouTube. They've put the best minds, the most intelligent programmers, psychologists, billions in research and development, endless tests and trials, A/B testing to figure out the best way to hack into men's brains and exploit their inner systems, making a generation of wankers. This is one of the largest changes to society we've seen in the 21st century, and we're only now learning what the real consequences are. A shocking 80-
Bro, and the thing about like the hub, right, is, bro, not only is it probably, bro, it's more addictive than most drugs. Keep that in mind. It's more addictive than most drugs, and not only is it free, but it's easily accessible to anybody.
57%
That's
of
a
college
recipe
age men
for
in America watch
disaster,
adult
man.
content, 50% weekly and 20% every single day. And these numbers are only going up. I mean, is it any surprise that nearly a third of young men are now going without intimate contact for years at a time? They're both having their willpower taken away while being offered an easy alternative at the same time. That ambition to do great things and accomplish something in your life is being squashed and redirected, all to line the pockets of some shady people at a shady company that nobody's even heard of. Coincidentally, MindGeek recently changed their name to ALO, a few months after a documentary was released on Netflix shining a light on their shady practices. And at the bottom of this pyramid are all the countless stars and performers that produce the content that fuels this money machine, making schoolgirls, normal people, broke people, anyone and everyone to become their own stars and make their own OnlyFans, whilst addicting almost every single man to becoming more disconnected from society. Most of the people who make their way through the industry pipeline come out the other end with a few dollars and a
Has anyone seen my pants?
bunch of regrets. Recruiters look for people with troubled backgrounds
shit.
who have enough of a negative self-image to consider the work in the first place. But the work never solves their problems and generally makes them worse. Even the famous and popular performers can easily hit rock bottom once the work dries up, just like the subject of our next story, Jenny Lee. Like most of the people we've talked about today, Jenny came from humble beginnings. Born in the early 80s, she grew up in Clarksville, a small city in Tennessee, before beginning her career as a model, then as an adult film star. Her looks and her personality quickly caught on in the industry, getting her work in over 100 films to date. From 2003 to 2009, Jenny made a name for herself, rising up the ranks and becoming incredibly popular with fans. Even today, over a decade after she retired, her name is still on the list of top performers on tube sites. And yet despite her work, Jenny got married at just 22 years old, although rather
Oh, hey bro, she did corn work and still got married at 22, bro.
respectively, by 2006, she was divorced from her husband. The question is, where is she now? Well,
I mean, of course they divorced. Like, it's just like, especially an actively working,
it's not really a fairy tale ending. After trying to leave the industry in 2009, Jenny Lee moved to Vegas to work as a model, but we can gather that her career didn't actually plan out as expected. She was still allegedly appearing in films all the way until 2016, when she appeared to drop off the face of the earth. That was until 3 years later, when a Dutch film crew exploring the tunnels under Las Vegas inexplicably found her living there in a vast network of homeless people. The brief interview they conducted with her is shocking to watch, but by her own admission, she seems kind of okay with how things turned out.
But I'm happy. I have everything I need.
And that's all that matters, man. As long as you're happy, I'm saying you're away from all that. That's all that matters, man. No, good for her if she really is happy,
It's thought that between 1,000 and 1,500 people live in the tunnels under Sin City. Jenny describes their life as hard, but that the shared struggles breed a sense of community amongst the other lost people who made their lives underground. Now, of course, there's a bunch of dangers here, from flash floods and sewage to rats, addicts, and extreme temperatures, not to mention crime. However, since this interview, not much has been known about Jenny's life. She might still be down there, scratching out and living amongst other people who don't judge her for her looks or her background. It should be clear at this point what's going on in the industry. It takes people who are generally already unstable because of their childhoods and lures them in with fast money. They trade away their dignity and their privacy, and even if they're successful, the industry will just spit them out a few years later. This has been going on for decades, but the question still remains, why is it getting worse now? Websites like OnlyFans and other self-promotion tools
It's getting worse now because people are seeing that, the hub industry is doing as well as it is, and they're seeing that and trying to eat off it, just like OnlyFans, you know what I'm saying?
claim they're giving the power to the performers and taking it away from a predatory industry, which is a crazy thing to say when these sites are just incentivizing normal regular people to start becoming online adult stars. And if their claims were actually working, we wouldn't be seeing the disturbing rise in the casualties. Instead, OnlyFans is one small part of a group of problems that are hitting performers one after another. The site essentially helped carry on the work of the tube sites by creating a single global marketplace. While this might sound liberating, in fact it only makes the competition far harder for actresses that would have had stable deals with production companies just a decade or two before. In the same way that dating apps have made it far harder for men to find some, in fact it only makes the
Nurse forced leave job after colleagues discover
competition
OnlyFans page.
far harder for actresses
Boston nurse left job, now makes 200K a
that
month.
would have had stable deals with
Who was Ali Ray ex-nurse and makes 78, man.
production companies just a decade or two before. Already faced far more dead.
And again, is this success if you're selling your soul to achieve it? I don't think
have
so.
flooded the
personally.
market and are used to numb the pain and fill the dad-shaped hole left in these stars. And as their drugs get more and more tainted, they need
I'd say, at least to me, let me say at least to me. To me, true success is spiritual peace. And whether that means that, you know what I'm saying? Whether that means that you're under a bridge, you're working at a Wingstop, or you're working at as a nurse, as a doctor, is obviously gonna, whether, and any of that, it matters, but to me, it ultimately doesn't. What I care the most is like peace over anything. Over money, over fame, over
higher doses
peace, over
to
anything.
even live
That's
for their
true
lifestyle
peace to me.
choices.
So is it really, whenever I hear someone who sold their soul say like, oh, I'm successful, I always kind of feel some type of way about that. Again, not judging them, but that's just like
It's
that's just
making the
me.
lives of these performers far more dangerous. The mental health crisis that the rest of the world is going through is just as bad as in the adult film industry, if not more so. Performers in the industry get PTSD at 70% of the rate of combat veterans, either from the trauma that brought them to the industry in the first
What?
place, or from trauma which happened on set, and even after being on set. At the end of the day, it's an industry of victims. It preys on the weak and broken to make its content, whilst trapping its audience in an addictive cycle. As long as video cameras still exist, the industry isn't going anywhere, but new technologies like AI threaten to change everything. On the one hand, replacing the jobs of performers with AI could ultimately lead to fewer broken lives, but it would also make
which
things
is a
far
good thing.
worse for the audience. Giving people access to a way to visualize whatever their desires might be would only make people go further down the addiction rabbit hole. We're already seeing that happen with deepfakes today. With the crazy stuff of AOC and Trump together, you can only imagine what sick things will be made in the coming years. And the efforts of some states to ban the content entirely and stop people from accessing it won't work either. Even just banning adult entertainment sites, like the state of Texas did with Pornhub, isn't enough to stop the flood. In the same way that prohibition never worked for drugs or alcohol, or anything else, people always find a
Prohibition doesn't do anything, man. If somebody wants to watch adult video, they're gonna watch an adult video. And, you know, that's the reality of it. But it's like, what can you, who's watching, who's a sensei human being, what can you do with that info? You know what I'm saying?
way to get access
That's all you
to
gotta
it
worry
if
about,
the
man.
root problem is still there.
But that's pretty much the end of the video, man. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to sub, like, comment your thoughts, opinions down below, and peace.